Our first time back in the chamber in a long, long time. I don't know if anyone can remember the exact date, but I know it's been over a year, I guess, is it, since we've been almost, when was it? Councillor Ben?
We in January, I think.
Yes, we were in, but just want to let the general public, although we're back in the chamber, we are practicing physical distancing, and we are wearing our masks when we're in and moving around the building. So we're playing it safe. Unfortunately, we've had another little flare up now, so everybody plays by the rules. Hopefully we'll get over this little hill as well. So, but it is good to be back in the chamber. No one can say it around mute tonight, so which is a nice thing, as someone reminded me a minute ago. So I'll call the regular meeting of September 7th, 2021 to order. First of all, the adoption of agendas and minutes. Adoption of the meeting agenda for September 7th, 2021. Moved by Deputy Mayor Murphy, seconded by Councillor Bent. Adoption of the meeting minutes of August 17, 2021, moved by Councillor Uden, seconded by Councillor Hillier. All those in favour? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Business arising from previous minutes? There being none. Visitors, presentations, and petitions. I have two proclamations. The first one, Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Disorder Awareness Week, September the 6th to the 10th, 2021. Whereas fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD, is a diagnostic term used to describe impacts on the brain and body of individuals prenatally exposed to alcohol. FASD is a lifelong disability. Individuals with FASD will experience some degree of challenges in their daily living and need support with motor skills, physical health, learning, memory, attention, communication, emotional regulation, and social skills to reach their full potential. Each individual with FASD is unique and has areas of both strengths and challenges. Whereas FASD NL is a pan-provincial organization that educates, provides supports and resources, and raises awareness about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder in Newfoundland and Labrador and Atlantic Canada. And whereas Move for FASD is held across the province to mask FASD Awareness Week. And whereas FASD Awareness Week is devoted to raising awareness of fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD, to improve prevention of FASD and diagnosis and support for individuals with FASD, and broad public awareness helps to put FASD the map. And therefore, I, Mayor Terry French, do hereby proclaim the week of September the 6th to the 10th, 2021 as Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Week in the town of Conception Bay South. Signed at the town of Conception Bay South on this 7th day of September, 2021. Okay, the next proclamation is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, September 2021, town of Conception Bay South. Whereas there are about 10,000 children living with cancer in Canada today, and whereas each year about 1,600 cases are diagnosed, over 25 of which are children in Newfoundland and Labrador, whereas in Canada, childhood cancer remains responsible for more deaths than 1 year through adolescence than any other disease, and whereas about 1 in 4 children who are diagnosed with cancer will die of the disease, whereas because of significant advances in therapy, 78% of children diagnosed with cancer will survive 5 years or more, an increase of almost 46% since the early 1960s. And whereas childhood cancers have close to a 75% cure rate, with leukemia leading this success charge with close to 90% overall cure rate. Now, therefore, I, Terry French, on behalf of the town of Conception Bay South, do hereby proclaim September 21st as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the town of Conception Bay South. Okay, that's the two proclamations. No presentations or petitions. Next, we have new business. We'll start with Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I just have one item I'd like to bring forward. Last week, I, along with Councillors Hillier and Tilley, attended the grand opening and ribbon cutting of Gully's convenience store in Upper Gully's. It's certainly nice to see, again, small businesses growing within our community, and they've been waiting a long time to be able to put this little ceremony off because of COVID. They've been almost over a year, actually, so I'd like to offer congratulations on behalf of the town to Dennis and Stephanie Walsh, the owners, and wish them every measure of success in their new venture. So that's it from me, Your Worship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yes, I too want to join with you in wishing them all success. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but another business opening, and I'm sure they'll do good. They're two young, energetic people. Smart as the top. All right, Councillor Uden.
Yes, Your Worship, really quick. I'm just going to highlight, I know we had the auditors present to Council on our audited financial statements for this year, but 4 consecutive years of a reduction in spending is a big accomplishment that you should all be proud of. I don't think it's been done in the history of Conception Bay South, so that's a big thing, especially when you know, each of us over the course of a term heard how much people were hurt by COVID, but even before that there was pressures on households with inflation and so forth. So to come for 4 years and to and with some significant blows in our financial capacity, we had some issues arise and cost increases and so forth. So to be actually come, you know, under budget in those years is it's an incredible accomplishment that you should all be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Uden. Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Your Worship. I had the opportunity last Saturday to attend be Council's representative at the Urban Municipalities Conference being held by the City of Mount Pearl. 2 things that I guess gauged my interest more than anything was had to do with the role of municipal enforcement in other jurisdictions. How I believe there's just one municipality in particular. They have actually rights to issue tickets and confiscate off-road vehicles. So I certainly I've reached out to that community to see if we can get some information as to how they went about that, and I'd certainly like to see if we can explore that option. And of course, the other thing as well is that I guess the larger communities across the province, one of the biggest discussions on the agenda for that day was ATV use. And so, you know, that different municipalities have different rules and regulations regarding ATV use. Learned a few things, but I'd certainly like to see some of those municipalities. Maybe we can partner with them in the future with some projects in regards to ATVs. But it was a good conference overall.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, just want to highlight a couple of issues that are related and seem to be pervasive in our community, and those are speeding and school bus safety, I guess, throughout the community. Just this week, I received an email from residents in the Sparrow Drive, Swansea Street area expressing just those concerns, and I know Councillor Bent is nodding his head. He's obviously aware of that situation as well. So we've passed that along to our staff, and in, I guess, the greater community, as we head back to school, I ask residents to pay attention to their speeds in local neighbourhoods and in school zones, and to follow school bus regulations and safety practices. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Councillor Bent.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, just to echo Councillor Hillier, you know, the speeding thing seems to be not something that's waning. It seems to be something that's continuing, and it's in many areas. And of course, when we get back to school now, I believe it's tomorrow in most areas, you know, we've got a lot of young people and families moving about in ways that we haven't seen in quite some time, because there was the shutdown, of course, and then the partial back to school in the spring. And you know, it's just so incredibly important that we stay aware behind the wheel, that we watch our speeds, especially in school zones, but everywhere really. You know, I always think that, you know, you go a speed that you think is safe, but really that's not the way to do it. You go a speed that's marked in the areas, because, you know, if under perfect circumstances it may work out, but if any one little thing goes wrong, the tragedy that can happen cannot be reversed, and I don't want to see anything like that happen. So please be mindful, especially in school zones and in areas throughout the town. I was on a road yesterday, and just walking along, and you see people coming, and the speeds you can tell that are up in the area, and there's a lot of frustration with that for residents, and not only frustration, but serious concerns. So please be mindful that the kids going back to school now tomorrow and the next day and so forth, that there's going to be more activity. And of course, what heightens that as well is the kids are going to be out and around a bit more. You're going to see more activity. And it's getting darker every night earlier. I think it's, we look outside tonight, it's 10 after 7, and it's pretty, it's getting pretty dark because it's overcast. So that's always a concern as well. One other thing I wanted to touch on, Your Worship, is meetings that I attended on behalf of council this past week called Economic Visioning. And it's a meeting of the major municipalities of the Northeast Avalon, and it's to talk about how and if we can work together in a meaningful way to try to attract economic revenue to this area, that instead of working completely independently and against each other sometimes to try to attract the much needed commercial taxes, that how can we work together? And it was a very, I guess, preliminary sort of talk to see where we could go, but there seems to be genuine interest on behalf of most of the municipalities or all the municipalities that we met with on the Northeast Avalon to explore the possibilities of being able to attract companies from all over the world to come to this area, and we all have something different to offer. And of course, some look to St. John's, some may look to Paradise or Mount Pearl, but we have a great package here in Conception Bay South to offer those businesses, the people that would come, and the needs that they would have. And given our location and of course our climate and our and just some of the amenities we have here, our walking trails and so forth for healthy living, makes us an ideal spot. And selling that along with the other municipalities may go a long way into helping our town. So it was a great talk. There's a consulting firm that's going to come back from that and give some direction as to where to go from here. So I think the idea of regional working together, regionalization of working together for this, I think may prove out beneficial for all of us in the long term. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Bent. Councillor Bursey.
Your Worship, I got one thing this evening, the 2021 Terry Fox Run. Annual Terry Fox Run will take place on Sunday, September 19th at 2 p.m. Participants will meet at the Manus River Iburn Interpretation Centre to start the event. To register and for more information, please visit the town website at exceptionbaysouth.ca. I see, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Bursey. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Well, was I ever excited to see all those seniors at the Seniors Barbecue? The town hosted 2 on the 25th and the 26th, and there's nobody knows. If anybody knows me, they know I love to go to anything that the seniors are at. So I was delighted to see so many happy faces, and they were so pleased to be out and about and seeing other people and having a chat and enjoying an awesome barbecue hosted by the town. So it was a great day. Both days the weather cooperated. One was really hot, the other was just perfect. So thanks to the town for hosting it, the Recreational, and the seniors really appreciated it, and so did I. Also want to let council know, and residents and municipalities of Newfoundland and Labrador know that at the August 26th meeting of the Women's Caucus, MNL, I was nominated and voted in as the vice chair of the committee. So I'm pretty pleased with that, to be second in command. Thank you. And Sheila O'Leary is the chair, and of course, with her guidance, the two of us will work together, and hoping to bring the future of this committee where it should be, with bringing women's issues to the forefront, not only during election time, but any time in the municipalities. So I'm very grateful for that position, and I hope to continue on it in the future. And I'd just like to say to students and staff,
awards are now open in all 8 categories. Nominations can be submitted online through the town's website. Descriptions of all 8 categories and the eligibility criteria for nominees are on the town's website. Last year, we received 37 nominations, recognizing 27 businesses that made significant contributions to industries, sectors, and the community as a whole. The 2021 Bright Business Achievement Awards will be presented at an in-person event to be held during BDC National Small Business Week. Small Business Week this year is October 17th to 23rd. The town would like to thank the sponsors and the community partners of the 2021 Bright Business Achievement Awards for once again supporting this opportunity to highlight the best of the business community in Conception Bay South. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Davis. I got a couple of things to mention tonight. First of all, I missed the last meeting. I was on holidays, but I want to congratulate all the candidates. I think we have a good selection of candidates, and it's really good to see the vast majority running a very positive campaign, telling people what they have to bring to the table and what they'd like to see and not like to see. Of course, keeping in mind that you lead 9 like-minded people, or at least 5 of the 9 like-minded people, to get things accomplished. So it's, you know, it's this kind of an organization works with consensus. And you know what, I've been fortunate to work with this council, and we haven't always been on the same page, but we've always managed to find a way forward. And I just want to remind councillors that when you're out there making strong commitments, you have to get others to buy in. So be very careful sometimes when you make those commitments. But I want to acknowledge and congratulate. You know, we see a lot of people sometimes out shouting from the bleachers, if you will. But it's the people, the real heroes are the people who put their name on the ballot. And I tell you, it's certainly notable people that do public service. And like I said many times since I've been here, you don't do this job for fame or fortune. It's certainly about your community. And certainly want to acknowledge again everybody who's put their name forward. And just by being in the race, I guess you bring something to the table and something for us all to look forward. So keep it a positive campaign and let us all know what you got to offer. And I think that's important when you're out knocking on doors and campaigning. And I want to wish you all luck. The next one is school opening. I know it's been mentioned by a couple of councillors tonight. Please slow down traffic. I know I see it every day, as most of us do on our own roads. Tomorrow's the big opening. There'll be kids going everywhere, mine being one of them. I'm sure they're not always as attentive as they should be out and about. As much as we like to think we're bawling, shouting, and lecturing and trying to keep them on the straight and narrow, there's lots of things to take them away from paying total attention to the roads and going back and forth. So please be careful all the time, but especially tomorrow as people find their new buses and so on. So please slow down. We talked about it earlier in the meeting, and I thought I'd mention it. It'll be announced, I guess, in the coming days in the paper and our social media and so on. We've decided to postpone our cultural master plan, recreation and cultural master plan. Well, I shouldn't say we're not postponing the plan itself, because we've already gone through several consultation processes. We've reached out publicly to groups in the town. We've had input for people who have been able to email in what they'd like to see. The next step was supposed to happen next Thursday night, where we were going to have a public presentation that was kind of held off so that we could come together as a community. It was, you know, it was intentionally held off, so we didn't have to do it all electronically, and we could come together. And of course, that's taken us to now, and now we're on the eve of an election. And, you know, although there has been quite a bit of public consultation, collectively, we unanimously decided that the new council should also be part of that public consultation. So the new council will be able to take part without just, they would always be the next council, would always be the one voting on it and accepting it. But now, by doing this, we allow them one more opportunity to hear what people are saying and see what the community would really like to see. And I think it was Councillor Hillier mentioned earlier, you know, this is really a good news announcement. This is a good thing we're doing. The other one was 12 or 14 years old, I believe, if I looked at the Recreation Director. So it was time for an update, and let's take this moving forward on a positive note. So I wish the new council well in their deliberations on this, and certainly listen again to the public and hear what they have to say. The last thing I'll speak about is the Lab 3. Some of you have seen next to our monument in the front, we've had some construction happening there, and we have a resident in our town who was kindly donated the cost of getting a Lab 3 or bringing a Lab 3 to our province. and the only one that will be in this province. And I can't help but think, what a better time to recognize some of the sacrifices that our veterans have made in Afghanistan with what's currently happening in Afghanistan. And, it's just a horrific scenes and difficult things happening over there. And, just to remember the people that fought to try to make the right things happen over there. It's good to see that this is finally going to be put in place, and hopefully we'll be able to enjoy it and recognize the veterans, besides those in previous wars. This is, I guess, a current conflict, so it's good to see that going to be put there on the 9th. And without further ado, I think I'll go to the recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee. Chair, Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship. I've got several recommendations coming forward tonight. First one coming out of Committee of the Whole meeting earlier this afternoon. Be it so resolved that application number 857 received on September 7th, 2021 for a 9.75 metre by 7.3 metre accessory building at 20 Laurel Road be approved. So moved.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Murphy. Discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Your Worship, the following recommendations were brought forward from our August 31st Planning and Development Committee meeting. Number 1, 25 Danick Place, recommendation. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Section 15 of the Town's Fence Regulations, application number 21-F-107 for a front yard fence at 25 Danick Place be refused, as there is no established form of front yard fences in the general area. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bursey. Discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
1332 Conception Bay Highway. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Section 201.2 of the Municipalities Act 1999, the town sell property at 1322 Conception Bay Highway. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Butler. Discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is a piece of property that came into our possession some time ago through tax issues, and we have no use for it in its location, so we're going to put it on the market.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Your Worship, excuse me, I'm in conflict of interest on item number 3, family business. I'll excuse myself.
Okay, carry on.
Yes, Your Worship, this is a rezoning from Municipal Plan Amendment number 19-2021 and Development Regulations Amendment number 36-2021. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, Conception Bay South Municipal Plan Amendment number 19-2021 and Development Regulations Amendment number 36-2021 are approved as adopted. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Tilley. Discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is a rezoning of a piece of property. We've been working with the owner on Foxtrot Access Road, and we've now come to the point where we're approving that rezoning.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 4, 1856 Conception Bay Highway. Wait for Deputy Mayor to take his seat. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Section 5.22 of the Town's Development Regulations and Section 24 of the Town's Fence Regulations, application number 2021-173 received on June 15th, 2021 for an above-ground pool complete with 1.8 metre high security fence at 1856 Conception Bay Highway be approved. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bent. Discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 5, 71 Seal Cove Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 4.113 and 10.7 of the town's development regulations, application number COM-21-071 for a home-based occupation at 71 Seal Cove Road be approved on a temporary basis for 1 year, and the application be reconsidered after the expiration of the temporary approval. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Bercy, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. We took this I guess two things into consideration on this one. There were some concerns with the location of that business by local residents, and we've been assured by the applicant that she just wants to use this as an incubator for her business, so that she can move out into commercial facilities as quickly as possible. So we're giving permission for this business to open based on a 1 year temporary application, temporary permit.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 6, 2597 Topsail Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with policy 5.2.31 of the town's municipal plan, application number 2021-229, received on August 2nd, 2021 for development of a subsidiary apartment within the existing single dwelling at 2597 Topsail Road be approved. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Davis, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 7, 102 Porters Road. Be it so resolved that the order issued on August 18th, 2021, requiring that construction of the extension to the existing accessory building stop, and that the extension to the accessory building constructed to date be removed from the property at 102 Porters Road be confirmed. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Tilley, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 8, 2442 to 42 Hop Street. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Section 17 of the town's fence regulations, application number COM-21-055 that includes chain link fence to a maximum height of 2.7 meters at the front and flanking street lot lines along Hop Street and Ford's Way for the industrial lot at 24-42 Hop Street be approved. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Bent, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Your Worship, before the Chair reads the blanket recommendation, during the committee meeting I declared a conflict in one of those items, so I'll be... Yeah, I think I do with something to go with that Hurley Place, and I have a sister-in-law lives in that area.
Yeah, I'm not ready to bring that forward yet, if you want to hang around a bit. Yes, Your Worship, before we get to the blanket recommendation, just want to have a look at some of the results of our permits over the last several months and the last several years. And as we know, the past several years have had an impact on residential and commercial development with fluctuations in the economy, downturn in the oil industry, and of course COVID-19. We as a town have been trying to prepare ourselves for when better times arrive, and I guess what those better times will look like. Recently, our planning and development staff did some analysis as to where we are in 2021 compared to the past few years, and it confirmed what we suspected. We are having a very good year, so just want to share some of that analysis with you and with our residents this evening. The first category is investment in existing properties, and what we mean by investment in existing properties, we're talking about accessory buildings, deck, fence, and general repairs permit applications. We have incomplete data for 2017-2018 where estimated value of deck and fence permit applications was not collected as a part of that application process. Therefore, 2019 is the most appropriate comparison year for this year. June and July 2020 were record-setting months for value of applications for further investments in residential properties. And we're feeling, and we're not just feeling, I guess we know, and most people know, the spike in activities was likely driven by provincial emergence from the first pandemic lockdown, the town's waiver of permit fees, and the province's home improvement rebate program. So if we take the year 2020, excluding 2020, the year-to-date activity in 21 is approximately 45% higher than the best of the past 4 years.
Oh.
And that's for property repairs, general repairs, decks, fences, and so on. If we go to the second category, value of construction reported Stats Canada by month from 2017 to 2021, and that's for new construction and building additions, so extensions to buildings and new building construction. We've already had around 20% more value in new home and commercial building construction in 2021 than we did for the entire years in 2019 and 2020. We're on pace to surpass total value of construction in 2018. We've left out 2017 because it had two anomalies, with the construction of Admiral's Academy and Heritage Square that were collectively valued at $32.5 million. So we're looking at right now a 20% more value in new home and commercial building construction in 2021 than we did in 2019 and 2020. In commercial activity, commercial application activity has surpassed year-to-date activity of the previous 4 years. As of July 31st this year, the town has received more commercial applications than for the entire years of 2018 and 2019. In the housing market appears to have rebounded from the low point, which was 2019. Builders anecdotally tell us that the majority of home starts are pre-sold and the number of speculative builds is very low. As of the end of August this year, we have had as many housing starts as all of 2020. Obviously, this is positive news. Difficult to put into dollars and cents, but an estimate would be approximately $250,000 in tax revenue associated with this activity. So it's all good news, and it's nice to be moving forward. Again, thank you very much.
Good stuff.
Councillor Tilley wants to will step out, and we'll bring forward my recommendation. Number 9, Planning and Development Committee meeting report. Be it so resolved that the decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on August 31st, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Bent. Discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Worship.
Someone grab Councillor Tilley. Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Councillor Tilley, I believe you're next, sir. Recommendations to Engineering and Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Worship. The following are some recommendations, or a presentation of our recommendations of a meeting held on August 31st, 2021. The first is Phase 47 Surface Course Asphalt Approval to Award. This is a surface course asphalt along the roads where water and sewer was installed under Phase 47 of our water and sewer program. At the time, the funding arrangement did not allow for surface course asphalt. Approximately 5 kilometres of road will be paved and includes repair work to existing asphalt. A list of these streets are available on our town's website. Notices have been posted, and we kindly ask that motorists obey construction signage and drive with caution and care in these areas. Work is scheduled to commence later this week. Recommendation: be it so resolved that approval be given to award Phase 47 surface course to Modern Paving Limited for the bid price of $773,870.94, including HST. Funds to be taken from the capital project account. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Bursey. Discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, if I could. Of course, Phase 47 is a section of Seal Cove Road that was where services were put in there a year or so ago, and we did have quite a few concerns expressed by the residents up there with the condition of the road. And originally, I don't think the second course was included in that tender for Phase 47, and of course now it is. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's basically what I'm told. So the people of Seal Cove area, especially that particular section, will be delighted, and hopefully that'll get done now before the cold weather sets in. So I want to thank everybody for that.
Yes, it's good to see. I couldn't agree with you, Deputy Mayor, because I visited on multiple occasions myself too, and looking at the shoulders as well. They're just washed out and in hard shape. So hopefully with this course, I don't know if we'll be able to widen the shoulders, but even tidy them up and clean them up compared to what they are today. So hope for major improvements up there. And like I said, the people of Seal Cove, they've waited long enough for water and sewer, and then they had to wait long enough to get their roads repaired. So we'll hope that gets done sooner rather than later. All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 2 is the Pierins Road and Easton's Road pedestrian activated traffic lights, approval to tender. As been previously announced, the town has engaged a consultant to review and provide recommendations for the crosswalk at Easton's Road and Conception Bay Highway adjacent to Mayons River. The review provided a recommendation for the installation of pedestrian activated traffic lights, which the town approved the consultant to complete design and tender documents. While investigating options to fund construction of this particular work, the town was able to combine similar projects and secure funds, which will also include the pedestrian traffic light upgrades for Pierins Road, Conception Bay Highway. These upgrades were recommended when the town completed condition assessment as part of its transportation study. The design was previously completed for the Pierins Road pedestrian traffic lights. However, construction funds were not available at the time. Combining both projects will provide financial efficiencies in procurement and construction. Due to the fabrication and delivery time for steel poles that the town is being advised, it is expected that the construction will begin in the spring of 2022. However, project construction is expected to be awarded later this fall. So the recommendation is, be it so resolved that approval be given to tender pedestrian activated traffic lights along Conception Bay Highway and Easton's Road and Pierins Road. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Davis. Discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And your worship, number 3 is the ratification of purchase order number 2021-0620, water system supplies. This is typical inventory required for maintenance of our town's water system. Be it so resolved that purchase order number 2021-0620 is ratified for MCO Waterworks in the amount of $38,386.36 plus HST for transmission main water system supplies. Funds to be taken from the so noted account. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier. Discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And number 4 is water, sewer, and roadwork request for proposals. The town has received funding approvals for a variety of water, sewer, and road projects under government cost shared arrangements. Work will consist of new water and sewer installations, phase 48, existing water and sewer infrastructure upgrades, and street paving and upgrading projects. A request for proposals is required to engage engineering consulting services for design, tendering, and contract administration of the approved projects. Further details will be announced as the project progress through design. It is anticipated that this work will begin in the spring of 2022 and continue into 2023. So be it so resolved that approval be given to call request for proposals for consulting services for upcoming water, sewer, and road work. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Bursey. Discussion? All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
And your worship, before I get into the blanket recommendation, I just want to touch on a few things that we talked about in our committee meeting. And of course, a lot of the recommendations that are brought forward is what we talked about. And I just want to touch on a couple things with regards to water statistics. For the benefit of the public, our water tests are, we test our water daily. And of course, we also test our water chlorine results every 3 or 4 days. So of course, just want to let everybody know that all these water results were within acceptable ranges. So we look forward to that. Just some training to date for our Public Works Department. We have 5 staff trained in fall protection. 18 staff have been retrained in first aid. 2 have been trained in power line hazard. 26 have been trained in traffic control. 2 in confined spaces, and 3 in occupational health and safety refresher training. And so the blanket recommendation is, be it so resolved that the recommendation decisions made at the Engineering Public Works Committee meeting of August 31st, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier. Discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Tilly. Next, we have the recommendations of Recreational Leisure Services Committee. Chair, Councillor Junior Bursey.
Your Worship, we only have one blanket recommendation this evening. Prestations of recommendations of meeting held on August 31st, 2021. Recreation and Leisure Service Committee committee recommendation. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Service meeting on August 31st, 2021 be accepted and presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bent, discussion? All those in favour? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Councillor Bursey. Next, we have the recommendation of the Financial and Admin Services Committee. Chair, Deputy Mayor Richard Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. The following recommendations are being brought forward from a meeting held on August 31st, 2021. The accounts payable check register, be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $600,740.02. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bent. Discussion. All those in favour? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
So the next one is ratification of manual checks previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks previously released totaling $316,964.82. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bursey. Discussion. All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
The ratification of direct payments previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify direct payments previously released totaling $287,344.12. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Butler, sorry. Discussion. All those in favour? Those against? Motion carried.
Item number 4, Your Worship, capital invoices. I'm going to ask Councillor Bent to bring forward that recommendation because I'm in conflict of interest because of a family business connection.
Okay. Councillor Bent.
Thank you, Your Worship. The recommendation be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $255,332.35 as per the attached listing. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bursey. Discussion.
Most of these expenses, Your Worship, have to do with consulting and engineering. Just a couple, Platinum Construction at Tilly's Road South Phase 3. It's work that they're doing there. $25,000 worth of repairs to the Robert French Memorial Stadium. And down below, you'll see $54,384.08 to finish off the Lab 3 project there. So most of the other stuff is just finishing up work or paying some of the bills for our capital works projects over the past number of months.
All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried. Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Bent.
Item number 5, tax and other receivables adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivable adjustments as follows in the attached table. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bursey. Discussion. All those in favour? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Next is the appointment of the auditors for the year 2021. Be it so resolved that approval be given to appoint Grant Thornton LLP as the town's auditors for the 2021 fiscal year. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Davis. Discussion. All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
The next is approval of amendment to gas tax agreement. Be it so resolved that approval be given to accept the amendment to the ultimate recipient gas tax agreement, which includes an additional allocation for 2021-2022 in the amount of $1,107,718 as per correspondence from the Minister of Municipal Affairs dated August 6th, 2021. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Bursey, discussion?
Yeah, it's good news. They've doubled most municipalities' gas tax for this year. Is this separate from our COVID support that we received?
To the best of my knowledge, it is.
Yes.
It is?
It is, yep.
So I don't know if the Director of Finance could just kind of, how much in COVID support did we receive? Do we know? And 1.5 million, which certainly helped us balance our budget this year. Thanks.
And the extra $1 million is for the next 3 years? I think it's for the next 3 years. So if, you know, if our governments have done nothing right, there's certainly a big thing that they've done to help municipalities across the country, and I'm delighted, and we certainly could use the money, that's for sure, here in the town of Conception Bay South. All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
Next is ICIP project approval, water and sewer upgrades. Be it so resolved that approval be given as the ultimate recipient, Town of Conception Bay South, to accept cost-shared funding as outlined in the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Project Approval Letter dated the 20th day of August 2021, project number 17-G, I don't know if that's L or I, -00033, water and sewer upgrades, with a total project value of $3,999,097. This council agrees to provide the ultimate recipient share value of $1,087,956 in funding for this project, and authorizes the mayor and the town clerk to enter into a funding agreement with the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure on behalf of the town of Conception Bay South. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Ben, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, of course, this is a major shot in the arm financially for our water and sewer system. We all know that our infrastructure in water and sewer is aging. We've had some major water main breaks, and of course this is going to go a long way in helping us resolve that problem. So this is welcome news as well, Your Worship.
All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
And to continue on with ICIP project approval, this is regarding street upgrading, Chaders Place. Be it so resolved that approval be given as the ultimate recipient, the town of Conception Bay South, to accept cost-shared funding as outlined in the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Project Approval Letter dated the 20th day of August 2021. Project number 17-RNC-22-00014, street upgrading, with a total project value of $423,325. This council agrees to provide the ultimate recipient share value of $127,949 in funding for this project, and authorizes the mayor and the town clerk to enter into a funding agreement with the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure on behalf of the town of Conception Bay South. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Uden, discussion?
Again, Your Worship, another good news story for the residents of Chaders Place, so we're happy to announce that this evening as well.
Yes, Your Worship, just you know, in terms of a place to be spending money, it's a pleasure to know that that project is going to take place down on Chaders Place.
Badly needed for sure.
Yes, Your Worship, Chaders Place is one of those streets that we put forward for funding application almost continuously, and finally this project, the ICIP project, which is a federal project, has now allowed us to go into Chaders Place. And I got to tell you, the times I've been on Chaders Place, it is one of the most badly in need of upgrading anywhere in the town, and it's fantastic that we're able to finally get this work going, and I expect that work will probably start sometime next year.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Next, Your Worship, is the Conference for Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador Annual Conference and Trade Show. Be it so resolved that approval be given for 2 members of council to attend the Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador 2021 Annual Convention and Trade Show to be held in Corner Brook, Newfoundland from November 3rd to the 6th, 2021, at an approximate cost of $525 each and $500 for virtual access. Funds are available in the noted account. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hillier, discussion? I'd just like to speak to that for a minute. You know, I always felt that the town previously, and I understand why they didn't, because everybody was so worried about the perception of municipal councillors and mayors, deputy mayors doing all this traveling and so on. But these conferences, for people that have been sitting around these chambers, these are valuable places for councillors to go. And with the new council coming on, I know we're only approving 2, but I would suggest that every single one of them go, because there's something to learn and something to take away from every convention. And on a much larger scale, I think it's time for this town, being the 2nd biggest municipality and knocking on the door of 30,000 people, to be exploring national and international conferences, especially when it comes to economic development potential that we could bring back here. So I think on the new council, I think it's worthy of note, and hopefully some of you people around this table will be back, then certainly bring that to the chamber, because I think it's a lot we can learn from traveling abroad and learning how others do things and making the connections to bring people here. So.
Yes, Your Worship, I just want to indicate that there's something to be said for what you're saying, because in my experience in attending the conferences, especially MNL, you find that the smaller communities really benefit. Not to say that the larger don't either, but you often wonder, you know, like a small community will send their whole council there. And that in and of itself indicates that there's a whole lot of stuff to be learned there, and they do have good information sessions there. So I agree 100% what you're saying.
Spoken from 2 people who are not running again, so there's no travel benefits
or
anything for
you
me
and
or
I,
you. At that.
You and I are gaining nothing out of this
right.
one. So not
absolutely. Yeah. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carried.
Next, Your Worship, is an order for 18 Hennessy Place. Be it so resolved that the order issued on August 24th, 2021, under the Development Regulations 2011 and the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, ordering the property owner to remove the livestock from the property located at 18 Hennessy Place, Conception Bay South, be confirmed. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Tilley, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Next is a personnel matter, Facilities Operations and Maintenance Manager. Be it so resolved that pending acceptable documentation, approval be given to appoint Morgan Walsh to the position of Facilities Operations and Maintenance Manager as per the terms and conditions of the employment contract. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bursey, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
And finally, Your Worship, be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of August 31st, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bin, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor.
You're welcome, sir.
Recommendations of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee Chair, Councillor Cheryl Davis.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just have the blanket statement. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of August 25th, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hillier, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Councillor Davis. Other committee reports? There being none, we'll have a motion to adjourn. Councillor Tilley, second by Deputy Mayor Murphy. Well, good night, folks, and thanks, and welcome to the residents back in the chamber, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. And good luck again to all the candidates. Good night.